So if you're here to talk about the detached consumer and how they are hard to get to, hard to get their attention, hard to keep following up and with them, and to no fault of any brand, right? That's just that type of shopper, that type of consumer. And with so much going on in e-commerce and social commerce, it like I'm not surprised that we this is such a big category. Like I find myself going through this detached stage a lot of the time, and it just kind of takes a really solid brand or campaign to like pull me out of that and bring me back into engaging with the brand. So that's what we'll talk all about today: what to look for, kind of what it means for your brand, and where you can find success before holiday time. So we have our speakers here. We'll do some quick intros and then we'll get into our panel. So you have myself here from the Justuno perspective. And at Justuno, I work with brands to, one, help them optimize their tech stack. So whatever you're using to gather reviews, to show pop-ups, to capture email and SMS, like that's really what we're focused on. And then focus on converting that traffic or those channels. So a lot of brand engagement is what I deal with. And then I also come from managing the whole experience for pop-ups for websites. So I've been very hands-on in trying to strategize and finding what works and what doesn't. And with the Justuno perspective, we are all about that on-site experience and then how any omni-channel efforts affect on-site. I'll take it over to Greg. Would love an intro from you.
Thank you, Steph, and thanks everyone for your time today. So my name is Greg Zakwitz. I've been in email marketing for, believe it or not, 18 years now, all on the e-commerce side. So it's been a long time. Uh, Obviously, I work for OmniSend. OmniSend, for those that don't know, is super quick for you, but we are an email and SMS marketing automation platform, plug and play integrations with a major e-com platform, especially Shopify. Our goal is to make you increase your sales quicker, easier, and for less of a cost than your other providers like Klaviyo and such. So come on over, check us out if you're unfamiliar with us. And if you are a customer, we love you. Happy to be here on this panel, and especially with Molly. So Molly, I'm going to kick it over to you if that's all right.
Yeah, thanks, Greg. Hi, everyone. My name is Molly Stats. I'm the Director of Strategic Partnerships here at Lucky Orange. For those of you not familiar with Lucky Orange, we are a suite of conversion rate optimization tools. So anyone looking to make money off their website can and should be using Lucky Orange to understand what their visitors are doing when they get there. I know you guys spend a lot of time and effort with tools like OmniSend to get people through email to your website, but what are you going to do about it once they get there? So we really focus on helping you guys convert those visitors to your website into conversions. So happy to be here with all of you today. And with that, kick it over to Tina.
Thanks so much, Molly. Hey, everyone. I'm Tina. I've been in marketing for about 7 years now and floating around the Shopify space with Content Curve, my content agency. Been working with businesses like Gorgeous, No Commerce, Postpilot, and a few others. So I'll be providing some expertise on some of the lessons I've learned with the no commerce customers. And then also I am head of marketing at Simple Bundles. So Simple Bundles is an app to help you obviously bundle products, but then specifically links really, really well to your backend system. So you can break down bundles into individual SKUs so that your picking, packing, shipping is a lot more streamlined and error-free. And then it also helps you bypass Shopify's variant limits so that you can create infinite options and variants with your bundles as well. So a lot more customization and personalization. So I'll be providing perspectives from mostly Simple Bundles and then filling in some gaps as well with no commerce too. And I'll kick it over to Sarah.
Awesome. Thank you, Tina. Hi, everyone. I'm Sarah Kang, AfterShip's Senior Technology Partner Manager. My background is in sales and logistics, but I've been with the AfterShip team for 2 years now, focusing on our integration partners. A large part of my role is really working with our partners to ensure we're offering joint solutions that enhance our customers' capabilities. So a bit more about who we are at AfterShip. AfterShip really is the complete post-purchase solution. We support so many touch points along the post-purchase journey, all really designed to automate the process as much as possible for merchants, and then create a really memorable experience for their customers. We're talking everything from personalization to branded shipment tracking, protection, warranties, and automated returns and exchanges. We currently serve over 18,000 customers today, including names like Tom's, Harry's, and Gymshark. But I'm very excited to be with all of you guys today and the audience talking about how to really engage with the detached customer. So Ashley, I'll throw it back over to you.
Yeah, thank you all for those great intros. As you can see, everyone, we are pulling from a lot of different areas in ecom and pulling this thought leadership together. So I'm excited to get into it. Let's see what our agenda is all about. We're going to get into fears and triggers around those fears, post-purchase, just like Sarah was saying, which we can all dive into, and reinforcing, like what can you reinforce at those points? And then social proof, a big topic, but honing it on where we can implement that a little better, a little more efficiently, even maybe more automated. So let's get into it. Our first theme is we're going to talk about fears that arise during shopping on site specifically. So where do these fears come from and how should fears be addressed on site? When I'm thinking about fears from this Justuno perspective, where we have pop-ups that will show up depending on what conditions you have, it is a lot first like learning about your customers and learning about your visitors. So that's two separate banks there. Customer has already paid you, you already have that money, a little bit of trust there, versus a visitor that doesn't, you just kind of don't know what journey they've taken unless you are super duper honed in on the different touch points that take them there. So when you're considering those fears, I like to think about it from those two different buckets when I'm talking with a brand, and just what those fears, how those fears are different at different stages. And then depending on, we ask here, where do these fears come from? That can also really come from the channel they're visiting from. So we're all about source targeting, meaning when someone is arriving from your email versus when someone is arriving from a social media campaign, we want to serve them up a different experience. And based off of where they come, that will carry its own fears along with that. I would love to take it over to Greg from OmniSend. What are your thoughts on this? Where are you coming from?
Yeah, I agree with you. Fears, I think mostly everyone now has the same fears, right? 15 years ago, it was about, is my credit card info going to be safe? I think we've mostly passed those points now. It's e-commerce is so ubiquitous now. I think we're really in a stage of, is the product going to be good? Is it the value versus the money ratio? How do I know it's going to be a good product and I feel comfortable purchasing? And then if things go awry, either something is bad, misses the target, can I return it easy? And I think the fear of not being able to return things or spending money, even if it's a $5 restocking fee or something, the fear of paying an extra $5 for something you don't want is really challenging there. And I would say if you talk to any person, just general consumer, they're going to get the same things. They just want good products for the quality and the price they pay. So I think a lot of the things that you target new consumers with, first-time shoppers, like you said on your website, they need a little more hand-holding. I think those same things are going to apply to loyal customers as well, or repeat customers come back for a second or third time. And that's going to be things like product reviews, right? That's social proof. I'm a big talker about social proof anyways. I love it in general, but things like product reviews, customer testimonials, promoting the value adds you have to make people feel comfortable. I think those things go a long way. And those are things I'd promote on your website and your emails, on your pop-ups, kind of wherever you do it, and make sure those things are communicated really well with people. And I think simple things to do, you're already collecting product reviews, you have testimonials in those, take some snippets of the text, use them in your marketing, showcase 5-star customer favorites, top rated, whatever you want to call them in your messaging. And I think that's going to go a long way to just overcoming the initial hurdle. And then you always get the odd things that, or some of those ancillary things that I know people on the panel are going to talk about today as well. Those are the big ones I would look at. Use the social proof, focus on returns if you can. Otherwise, use that social proof, but just make people feel comfortable buying. And I think it's going to take you a long way.
Yeah, those are like when you say those as fears, I immediately go to like objection world. And those are things that like not having enough social proof, not having a return process situation set up initially can just like they're holding on to that fear throughout the whole shopping experience versus you making that really prevalent right when they get on site. So it's a fear they can overcome a little easier once they see more value props. It's kind of like forgotten, like, okay, I'm good on that. Now what else am I looking at? I love that, Greg. Thank you for that. Let's take it over to Lucky Orange. Molly, what are you thinking on this one?
Yeah, so I think one of the things, and I think fears, anxieties, motivations coming to your website kind of all play hand in hand here. And I'm going to give like a couple examples that really come to mind when talking about fears and some of the customers we've interacted with. And I think maybe the e-commerce brands on the site can really relate to these. So one, and this is a world I'm super not familiar with, but know enough to be dangerous, and that's like computer chips, processing, modems, data, all of that. And one of our customers was like, hey, we're going to put this configurator on our website, and it's going to tell you, you're going to put in what you want to do, and it's going to spit out the recommendations of like, you should get this graphics card, and you should get this modem, and you should get these different things. And these are presumably the people coming to your website wanting to buy this are technical-ish people. And one of the fears, after we did some customer interviews with them, that we started to notice that the people were saying, even like CTOs of companies that were buying this for their own personal gaming use, were saying, yeah, but if I buy this graphics card, how do I know what's the minimum, the modem or support that I can do to support this graphics card? Or am I going to have poor performance and only be able to play my games on like lower settings? And so this configure tool, if you will, that they had on their website actually just introduced more fears into their buying process, because they didn't know what they should care about. They didn't know if they had $500, how much of it should be spent on the graphics card, how much of it should be spent on the other hardware for the computer. So it actually just introduced a barrier to entry and more fears coming from their website. So take a look at your own website. Are you trying to make things easier? But in reality, it ends up just confusing people and making it more difficult. People have a real fear of purchasing and buying the wrong thing, and especially on a higher end purchase where they may be investing more money, there could be some confusion there. Also, another example, we worked with a customer that sold like high-end home goods and like tables and bespoke end tables and coffee tables and things like that. And on their website, someone added to their cart, there was a question in a box that said, is there anything you'd like to change about this coffee table? And someone was like, and we're like, wait, should I want to change something about this coffee table? I thought I was buying this, thousands and thousands of dollars piece. And you introduced a fear to them on your website saying, what would you like to change about something they're getting ready to purchase and spend significant money on? So it's going through your website and saying what areas could actually be causing more confusion and fears. I think another good example to come across is, say you're selling skincare products, and you know that some people coming to your website may know exactly what skincare product they want. They want, something for their dry skin, and they want some anti-aging cream. Great. Some people will come to your website and have no idea. So asking your customers that have purchased, what did you care most about when you were coming to our website? What were you looking for in your skincare products? That'll help give you some direction to say, I care about most organizing the products for oily skin or for dry skin or for anti-aging. That can help you get your website and orient your website in a way that eliminates the fears of having to hunt or peck for different things that you care about most about your products, and gets them to the things they care about most and prevalent on the website. So I would say those are just some ways to review and audit your own website to say, am I introducing fear where there doesn't need to be fear and preventing people from checking out?
Oh, I love that. And a website audit, like you can do the website audit all day long, but I find that brands or whoever's managing the site, right, you just naturally have that tunnel vision because you see the site every day. You're managing all these things every day. So getting that outside perspective of an audit, or just like your friend, your buddy, someone that you trust, or anyone that you're using in your tech stack. Like, we are all very well versed in conversion and what that can mean, and we all come about it at different ways. So a good tip for you to prioritize having maybe multiple audits from different people before the holiday comes up. I love that. And then Molly, you touched on something. We had a question, or more of just a comment, about detached consumer or customers in regards to long sales cycles due to expensive items. Please discuss. And what you were saying with the skincare stuff, like that, it can also be applied to that long sales cycle, but your question is just a little different. Maybe it's more like, when do you want to be able to do XYZ? What is your time frame? What do you
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good question. And actually, one of our customers makes these high-end suits, and the high-end suits, thousands and thousands of dollars, you're ordering them online, and it takes 8 to 12 weeks for them to arrive. So you're making a big purchase. It's going to take a long time for you to get there. They get to your website, and you're trying to convince them that it is worth the investment to spend thousands of dollars on it, and it's worth the wait for them to. And one of the things that I think that one of our customers did a really good job of is they did a kind of behind the scenes of meet the makers of the people that are actually making the suits. So they can actually see the, seamstresses that are working on these suits to handcraft them. Tell a little bit about the sourcing of the products and why it may take 8 to 12 weeks to get in there to really sell that, hey, this is a valuable product. Here's the behind the scenes of why it takes so long. And then show examples of that, of them making it, of people trying on the suits, of, customer testimonials, like Greg was saying with the social proof, to really validate that one, this piece, I'll show you the behind the scenes. I'll show you how we make it. I'll show you why this is so expensive because we source the materials from these products. We have the best seamstress in the world that's able to craft these suits for you. And to kind of eliminate that fear that people may have of making a big purchase online that's going to take a long time to get there. So really giving those people the behind the scenes. And that can be done through email campaigns too. It doesn't all have to happen on their website, but if someone fills out an interest form, really telling that story to keep them engaged, which could be a potential longer sales cycle and longer for them to get the payoff of receiving your product.
Heck yeah. And with the data that, or whatever it is that you're capturing, that knowledge that you're capturing, to Molly's point, that should get served up to your whole marketing stack to be used and to be more effective in targeting for however long that sales cycle is. Great wrap up on that, Molly. Thank you. Let's take it over to Tina. I know you got a lot of points of views on this, so I'd love to hear where you're coming from fears and just what that means in your world.
Yeah, awesome. Well, first to bridge off what Molly was saying about, skincare products and what type of skin is this for. So one simple win there is to bundle products like that together. Like what are all your oily skin products? What are all your sensitive skin products? And then just putting them together, you're shortening the customer journey there because they don't have to go through all of your different categories from cleanser to moisturizer to, potential cosmetic products to try and find every single individual item that's going to be for sensitive skin or for oily skin. It's right there for them. And then to address the fear itself of, like, how is this actually going to work for me? How long do I need to wait before I see results? That's the importance of having really context heavy copy on your landing pages. And so you want to make that super clear to say, like, okay, by combining this moisturizer with this cleanser, with this toner, like you're going to see results 10 times faster than if you were just using one individual of these products at once. And by combining all three, you're going to see, maybe in a week or 2 weeks or 1 month of consistent use, some of that results that you want for your skin. And yeah, it's like, it's not just good for SEO, obviously a big SEO brain here. I'm always thinking about that. So context-driven copy is very helpful for that, but it's also good for establishing trust and credibility. So this is actually something we see a lot on product bundle pages where it's easy to forget that customers don't know anything about your bundle or the products. So the same applies to honestly all of your product pages, whether it's bundled or not. So the words you use can have a really big difference between a customer making a purchase and scrolling past. So just a couple of things I always recommend there is like identify your unique selling points. So you want to clearly communicate what sets you apart, whether that's like significant savings or exclusive products, limited time offers. Make sure you're like always telling a story about how your products can solve a problem. So going back to that skincare, the oily skin, make sure you're telling folks, like this is the problem we're solving. This is how long you can expect. This is how it's going to enhance your life and make you feel better. And just be careful, like creativity is obviously important and fun, but it should never compromise clarity. So, you just want to be clear with your copy, avoid jargon, avoid trying to use complex sentences or try to make a joke or be witty at the expense of a customer potentially understanding what it is that you are selling. And then optimize on mobile too. So, huge, long descriptions look terrible on mobile and it's going to land to people, probably bouncing off of that page. And then just something I want to say in addition to what Greg was talking about with reviews, we've seen it work really well to have like the 5-star reviews or 4.5-star reviews really close to your add to cart button. So it just gives potential customers the opportunity to like assess that trust right away. And then if they want to learn more or read about reviews, they can easily click that and have it anchor down to like maybe the bottom of the product description page where they can then scroll through those reviews and be able to read like specific testimonials. And I think Katrina had a question about how to get these reviews when it's already hard to get customers to purchase. So one thing I will say there is Post-purchase surveys. I think that they're really, really important. We see an average 45% response rate with them. And you can target, I wouldn't recommend targeting, first-time shoppers because they obviously haven't experienced your business before. But what you can do is target repeat buyers and then just ask them in a post-purchase survey, for that testimonial that you can then feature on those product pages. So that's one way to do it. And then, that just kind of leads me to asking straight from the source what your customer fears are after they purchase. It's actually a common question I do see in surveys is just like asking, hey, like what almost stopped you from purchasing today?
Yeah.
And then your shoppers will tell you exactly what's making them pause. And it could be things like, I don't know if this is going to fit me. And then that's a good indication of like, hey, maybe I should have a size chart on my product description page. Where can I feature that so that it's easily accessible?
Oh, I love it. Everything you're saying is like those those micro engagements that we want to lead to the conversion. Like whatever that conversion means to you, whether it's money in the bank, an email, you get their Instagram handle, however that's valuable to you. Thank you, Tina. You did address the question that I was going to get to. I love it. I had another one in here. Okay, I'll get back to that one. For now, let's take it over to aftership. What are you thinking on this one with post-purchase everything?
Yes, yes. Just to start, Tina, I completely agree with you that review placement is so, so important, and also couldn't agree with you more on just overall post-purchase surveys and the importance there. But I definitely echo what everybody has already shared. But like Ashley said, I'm going to answer this question with more of a post-purchase lens. Obviously, we all know online shopping has been around for quite some time now, and it does come with a ton of different fears for each different customer and each different customer persona. But in our experience, a lot of these fears primarily stem from uncertainties around delivery times and the overall returns process, which I know we touched on a little bit. But these things can all really significantly impact customer satisfaction and just overall loyalty. One of them, when it really comes to not receiving packages on time, this fear really arises from past experiences of like delayed shipments, inconsistent delivery times, and just an overall lack of transparency during the shipping process. Customers often worry that their packages are not going to arrive when they expected, especially for time-sensitive purchases. We've all been there. We've needed to order something for a big upcoming event. We've ordered something, it doesn't come on time, but we're not thinking in our mind, oh, the carrier delayed this process, like DHL or FedEx, this is their fault. We're thinking about it from the brand's perspective. We're thinking this brand has a horrible shipping experience and I don't want to order from them again because it caused fear around the shipping process. Another one I want to touch on a little bit, and like I said, Greg and SJ did a great job of highlighting this, but it's just an overall unclear, complicated, and unreliable returns process. Many customers have faced just cumbersome returns processes, unclear policies, and just long wait times for refunds or exchanges. This really creates hesitation to purchase, especially for items that they're just unsure about. And that's why it's so important to make it as easy as possible for customers to return. And it kind of sounds like, hey, why would we promote returns or exchanges on our site? But we can all recognize that this is a serious fear when it comes to shopping online. And again, we've all been there, whether you're ordering jeans from a new brand and you don't know if they're going to fit right, or a brand doesn't have half sizes in shoes, whatever the case may be, you're wondering, will it work? Will it fit? How can I return? How easy is that process going to be? So that certainty of knowing, okay, this is the exact returns policy and this is how I can return will really just ultimately increase conversion. And that's what you want. And that just kind of lends itself into just kind of how you address some of these things. And going back to the conversation around shipping times, one of the things I wanted to share is just providing accurate estimated delivery dates. So displaying that accurate estimated delivery time in a few places on your site. So one, the product description, and then also on the checkout page significantly boosts customer confidence. And we've actually seen a 3% increase in conversion rates from some of our customers by just having that on the product display page. It really is a game changer. Customers want to know exactly when their package is going to arrive, and they're more likely to complete the purchase if they do know. So this has made just a significant impact on conversion and really giving customers that peace of mind that they're after.
Heck yes. And with like the strategic placement that you're mentioning, like when I think of a return policy or just anything post-purchase, I kind of think of content or like a page that's a little wordy, right? You're probably going to tell me a lot of details, a lot of this has to happen or this maybe. So from just Justuno point of view, you can have any kind of pop-up or click actually open up that bigger module that's going to display that. So if your fear as a brand is like, well, I don't want to like bombard my site. I don't want to just like, I don't want to have to add another landing page. Like, no worries. That's where you can incorporate really strategic placement in various places where that one little CTA click is what opens up your whole description or your details of that. Any comments on that, Sarah, for other placements?
Yeah, I think that's so important, actually, and a good call out. And you can use those pop-ups and use that CTA, like Esther said, to then share more information, right? Take them through that returns process, give them enough information as possible on just what the policy is, and keep it simple, high level, but very clear and concise. And then use things like a return portal, for example, to really dictate some of those questioning. So you can start to get into the nitty-gritty of returns and exchanges and see if an item is even eligible for returns and exchange, but keep that experience separate so you're communicating clearly with your customers at first.
Yeah. And in today's world too, with ecom, to come back to something Tina was mentioning earlier about your context and being really clear about your content that you have, like, I think now is a really clutch time to incorporate like somehow showcasing your shipping stuff in a video form, using the right icons throughout your website. So it doesn't all have to be like really text heavy. I love Tina's point. Like, we don't want to make it complicated, but there are icons, there are videos you can incorporate that make things really clear where someone doesn't have to read to it. And maybe that applies more to your mobile situation that you have. I love it. Sarah, I found the question that I had for you, which perhaps you already addressed. But what are preventative measures to ensure customers don't take advantage of a return policy? We currently just refund total order. We don't ask for the product back, usually because it's food.
Yeah, that's a really great question. Obviously, not all items are eligible for returns, but it's still really important to clearly explain what your returns policy is, and then still have some sort of returns automation tool that takes away any of the manual work and can take a customer of yours through an exchange process. So that is extremely important to highlight what's eligible for returns. And then if you don't take the item back, we'll maybe give the customer an opportunity. Hey, you didn't like this. Well, how about you shop our entire catalog and find an item that you liked better? And our returns portal can support that process. But I did see that question in the chat, and I'd love to follow up with you and learn more about how you're set up today.
Lovely. For everyone too listening in, there will be this box that comes up after the webinar is concluded, and whoever you want to hear from, you'll just be able to select, and then we'll do an intro so you can catch up on any questions that we missed, but hoping to get to a lot of it. Amazing. Well, we got through our first theme. We are 30 minutes in, so let's keep chugging along here. We've got our second theme. What are the prime ways to actually learn about your customers' psychology and emotional triggers and apply it to your campaigns? And we want to avoid guessing and that whole vibe of throwing spaghetti against the wall tactics where we're just trying to see what sticks. I would love to start out with Molly from Lucky Orange. What are you thinking on this?
Yeah, so I love this topic because one of the things we say around here at Lucky Orange is behavior is communication. And that may sound like a silly little marketing tool, but one of the things that we find really interesting is, and an example we like to use, is how many times have you been sitting down at a restaurant and your plate of food comes out and, I don't know, the steak's not cooked perfectly right, or the noodles are overcooked, or there's some weird seasoning on your vegetables, and the waiter or waitress comes over and is like, Molly, how's your food? How's everything going? Are you enjoying it? And you're like, yeah, everything's great. Thanks for checking in. And then the waiter walks across the room and he sees you kind of mess with your, steak a little bit and push it off to the side. He sees you take a bite of your vegetables and make a disgusted face. Behavior is a communication, because sometimes we say one thing and we actually do or mean another. And that's why tools like session recordings and heat maps are so important on your website, is because you can use surveys. And to be clear, big proponent of surveys. I think it's always better to ask the customers, but sometimes what your customers are saying and what they're doing are two different things, and their behaviors can be very different. So using things when people get on your website about saying, like a good example is like weight loss. So if you have weight loss supplements and that's something you say, and you interview your customers and you say, tell me why you're buying these supplements today, and they're saying, well, weight loss, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, weight loss, got it, I'm selling weight loss supplements, that makes a lot of sense. But then when you actually look at their behaviors on your website, you actually see that they're spending a lot of time on your section, a section that you have focused on losing weight because of health reasons, because you're pre-diabetic, or because, you have certain health issues, heart disease or a heart attack, and you're trying to lose weight because you actually are trying to prevent yourself from becoming diabetic. By looking at their behavior on their website, they told you they want to lose weight, but by watching their behavior on their website and seeing that they're spending a lot of time on, your weight loss supplements and how it prevents diabetes from happening, you can say that's something that's important to my customers, and I need to highlight that earlier in their journey. So I really think behavior is kind of key to making sure that you're understanding what your customers are saying and doing and making sure those things are connected. And then you can kind of help alleviate. And like I said, in the weight loss supplement example, really putting that health factor maybe more dominantly on your website so people can find that and push them closer to conversion.
Awesome, Molly. I wonder, so when you're going through this analysis of heat map and seeing that behavior, when it comes to a brand, like, do you have to see many sessions of that happening, or is one enough to kind of take action, pivot some campaigns? Like, where do you go from seeing it one time to trying to see it?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why it's good to use tools like session recordings to watch a couple to start to see a trend. And then you switch over into something like heat maps that really aggregates all your sessions and all of the engagements and saying, okay, maybe I saw in one session recording that someone was spending a lot of time in the health related section of my supplements. But then I go over to session record, or I go over to heat maps, and I actually notice the aggregate of the clicks. People are spending more time because they're preparing for an upcoming event and they want to know how quickly these weight loss supplements will work. So it's really good to compare and contrast against different tools to make sure you're getting the full picture. And again, throwing those surveys in there to kind of help validate or point you in a direction can get you kind of using tools all together to really identify that behavior.
Awesome. Thank you for that feedback on there. We'll take it over to Tina. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah. I mean, Molly covered a really great portion of everything there. Just in addition to what you were saying, Molly, about like the survey. So I kind of try and break it down to two different approaches. So first, like talking about surveys would be like direct response. So I think a lot of folks see post-purchase surveys as a really intrusive experience, but it can, like, I would see it as the opposite. I already mentioned like seeing an average 45% response rates with the surveys at No Commerce, but that's because you're reaching customers at a time where they've really shown the highest intent possible. They've made a purchase. So they're already engaged, they're ready to interact, and you're not pausing their journey from making that purchase because they've already done it. So it isn't as intrusive as it might seem, and it's easy to ignore if they don't want to engage, But when you're setting up your post-purchase surveys, it's important to ask questions that lead to like actionable insights rather than just interesting questions. So it might feel good to ask something like, do you like our brand? Yes or no? And if people say yes, like you're like, oh yes, thank you. Like that sounds great. But what are you actually going to do with that information, right? Like there isn't a lot that you can take action on there. So I always recommend breaking questions down by purpose, audience, and product. So, purpose being like what is it for marketing, is it for your product, like what sort of insight are you trying to gather there? And then audience, is it repeat customers, is it new customers, is it both? One example I always like to point to is a brand called Woobles, and they do a lot of partnerships with Woobles sells like kind of like almost like stuffed animals sort of
Okay.
products. Yeah, so they do a lot of partnerships with really like well-known companies like Warner Brothers and like Hello Kitty. And so they were curious to find out like if those partnerships were what were driving customers to purchase from them. And so they just simply asked in a post-purchase survey, like, was this the reason why you purchased from us? And they actually found out most of their shoppers weren't coming to them for that reason. They were actually discovering those partnerships afterward. And so that was just like a good indication of like, okay, maybe we don't need to use this partnership messaging to try and drive folks in. There's other messaging that we should lean on, but we can use the partnership messaging for that credibility and that trust when they are on the website to try and drive that purchase forward. So it's just like good information to have to understand like what sort of things should you be saying to customers at what point in their journey. And then the second part of it is actions and behaviors. So first part, direct response, second part, action and behavior. So that's where I just recommend keeping an eye on customer actions that indicate you might need to react. So my favorite example, obviously thinking of bundles, is kind of seeing when products are frequently being purchased together as separate items. And that's a good indication of, hey, like maybe I should turn that into a bundle because folks are already naturally purchasing those things. And you can see this data by looking at your Shopify online store cart analysis report and seeing which products customers have been adding to the same cart in the last 30 days. Or if there's specific products that you want to track, you can set up segments using a filter that tracks, when customer purchases product A and product B in the last, X amount, 30 days or whatever. And then if you find that natural fit between two items, I always recommend, like, if they've been purchased together at least 5 to 10% of that time in those last 30 days, that's a really good indication of like, okay, we should probably bundle this with a discount. And that could do very well because customers are looking to solve two issues that clearly complement each other.
Amazing. That's some great direction, especially like, I don't know how you feel. It's June. Is this bundling like prepping us for the holiday, or would you do another bundle analysis closer to November?
I think now is a great time to get your bundle set up. I was actually just talking about this in another panel recently, but bundles are so funny because I think a lot of brands can, they come first of mind for things like Black Friday and Cyber Monday with, putting bundles together, offering BOGO deals and whatnot. But bundles are something that you should be using year round. There's so many other holidays, there's New Year's Day, there's Valentine's Day, there's Mother's Day, there's Father's Day. Like, bundles are a year-round initiative. So I think it's just something that you should like always be thinking about. What are the upcoming holidays and events that are going to be going on that we can, be combining products together and making an easier purchase experience for our customers. Even seasonal trends, right? Like, around the summertime, your skin, you're going to want to protect your skin from the sun. So put bundles together of like skincare products that have SPF. Or in the winter season, if you're on the East Coast like me and get really brutal winters, people in my area are going to be looking for bundles of things to help moisturize their skin because it's going to get very dry with the cold weather. So bundles are something you can use year round. And that's why I recommend like looking at those actions and behaviors, because that just like constant understanding of what customers are doing, which is what like heat maps and whatnot can really help you understand as well, is to see like, okay, what are the journeys people are going on? What items are they clicking? What are they putting together? And is there something that we can just help them speed up that process by naturally like getting them from step A to step C sooner and helping them avoid the whole step B part?
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Avoiding something that maybe is a little cause of friction in there.
Exactly.
To your, like with everything you're saying about bundles too, it's like if you add on the layer of targeting based off geolocation and where they're from, like already there, you're building these different audiences or segments, however you're thinking about it. So a lot of different steps you can like take that into to make it more effective. I love it. Thank you, Tina. Let's take it over to Sarah. What are you thinking from the aftership side?
Yeah, thanks, SJ. Understanding customers' psychology and emotional triggers is obviously so crucial for just really crafting campaigns that resonate with your customers, that drive engagement. And again, from that post-purchase lens, let's talk about some of the ways that you can learn about your customers effectively and then start to apply these insights to your overall marketing strategies. And the first way, similar to a lot of what Tina just shared, is really to collect and analyze customer feedback. Gathering this feedback directly from customers really provides invaluable insights into their overall experiences and emotions. Post-purchase surveys, reviews, feedback forms can all just really reveal what customers like or dislike about your products, like we've just talked about. And I know Tina already highlighted this, but I want to get into specifically shipping reviews and kind of how that differs a little bit from like the post-purchase survey. So shipping reviews themselves are a really powerful way for collecting post-purchase feedback on the shipping experience. This feature allows brands to really gather those insights, get detailed reviews about the shipping experience, and then analyze them so they can understand common pain points and even emotional triggers just related to delivery times, packaging, and overall customer satisfaction. These reviews really provide direct insights into how customers feel about their shipping experience, and these positive reviews can really highlight and strengthen the customer's positioning, and then the negative reviews obviously can pinpoint areas for overall improvement. So, I mean, the reviews oftentimes, when it comes to shipping, really contain specific feedback that's within the brand's control. And then they can take action and fix some of these things, such as just improving delivery times, enhancing packaging, providing better tracking information. By addressing the issues raised directly in shipping reviews, brands can show that they value their customers' feedback and that they're really committed to improving their service, which of course builds trust and loyalty with your customers. And I guess really by leveraging tools like after-ship shipping reviews, other just feedback mechanisms that Tina was mentioning, brands can really get these deep insights into their customers' psychological and emotional triggers. And applying these insights will really help just boost campaign performance, enhance customer satisfaction, drive engagement, and ultimately increase your bottom line.
Amazing. Post-purchase, it may feel like an area that you don't really want to touch and mess with, but it is a really hot spot to get some, I would say, quality feedback. Everything's really fresh, right? And you've got them engaged because they're waiting for their product. They want to hear from you. Let's take it over to Greg from OmniSend. What are you thinking on this?
Yeah, so I'm going to reiterate what everyone has said so far, but we want to be half mind readers. We want to collect data on the other half. And the way you're going to collect data is talking to your customers. So, feel free to pick up the phone and call some customers and just ask them. Monitor social media, obviously. And if you feel it doesn't have to be purchasers, it doesn't have to be negative, but if someone's chatting with you, just drop them a DM, be like, hey, got a couple minutes to talk to us. I think the one thing where brands don't often do this is talking to the customer service team. So if you've got a team, walk over there, walk to the manager, whoever it is, and say, hey, what are people calling about? If you're the customer service team, have a conversation with yourself over a margarita at night and look for those common themes there. So I used to work with a company. They sold really high-end artificial Christmas trees. They're made to last a super long time. And they would constantly get calls after, obviously Q4 season, but after people purchased it, asking how to make the tree look like it does in the picture, right? So one of these Pinterest things, right? It looks beautiful and then it comes out and you got this wonky thing there.
Yeah.
It turns out people didn't know how to fluff the tree the right way. And they're like, okay, well, let's snip this in the bud. And they created a short video of how to fluff a tree. They included that in the post-purchase email series. So got this video beforehand, able to cut down, I think it was something like 60% of the customer service calls coming in because of this. And they saw quicker and more repeat purchasers for accessories and add-on items afterwards. So this is simply by just talking to the customer service team or looking for those themes there. So that's one way to obviously do it. Other things I would look at is look at email, SMS, any sort of marketing efforts that you're doing and look for common themes between what's successful and what's not. So if you're sending, say, back in stock, not automated back in stock, but campaign back in stock, like, hey, to your whole list, are those working really well? Generally, they do work well, but that just gives you an indication that maybe FOMO works a little bit more for your particular audience. Now, balance that with other things. Do we send promotions that are more focused on those value adds? So, product quality, whatever it might be, how much you give back to charities, it could be vegan, whatever it is. Do those perform really well? Or look at your discounts. Are they more concerned about discounts? Maybe expedited shipping promotions do really well. So it gives you a little bit of an indication about what your consumers are really looking for in the shopping and post-purchase process. I'm a huge proponent of post-purchase messaging. I agree with everyone who has already mentioned post-purchase today. So one of the easy things you can do is, as opposed to just running a survey, and this doesn't have to be in it to replace the survey, but it could also be in addition to, is look at those first-time customers and send them some sort of follow-up message, 7-10 days after they receive the item. Hey, is everything perfect with your order? And give them a customer service. You're just checking in on them, because a lot of times you'll get people that we talk about the price to value ratio that, hey, it's not worth complaining, but I'm just going to sit quietly and I'm not going to use it, but I'm not going to come back and shop with you. And that's just the way it is. And every brand deals with this. But a lot of times those messages can spur that call to customer service. You solve that problem, you get those repeat purchasers. But again, it's just another way to talk to the customer on those things. So talk to your customers, look for online cues, look for themes, and then try to build any sort of messaging around that. And that's how I would approach it.
Fabulous. And like everything you're saying, all those little kind of negative things lead to a detached consumer. You're creating that. And you're not like you are in a competitive landscape, not just with people in your industry, but just everyone selling online, wherever they're buying, that experience is influencing how they're experiencing anything with you. So keeping that top of mind is really crucial to see like how you can stand out. Thank you for that feedback, Greg. We have 9 minutes left just on scheduled time. How are we doing, panelists? Are we good to get into our third theme? If you got to hop off, totally.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, cool. We'll get into our third theme, and then we'll take it to some special offers that we have for everyone. So if you can hang on till the end. We've got a third theme here. So getting into post-purchase really hard here. Post-purchase detachment is real. So how do you see brands addressing honesty, transparency, and purchase reinforcement today? Actually, I'm sorry, may I back up a second? We touched on post-purchase like amazingly. How about I hop to our fourth theme, which is more on social proof that we can get into. Let me go here. Okay, so we'll hop into the fourth theme that we had. Social proof is alive and well. What are the most impactful strategies around presenting things like reviews, back in stock notifications, testimonials, FOMO messaging, and then we can get into post-purchase messaging too. I would love to start with you, Sarah, on the aftership side. What you got?
Awesome. Social proof obviously remains such a powerful strategy to influence customer behaviors and really build that trust that we're all after. And post-purchase interactions really present a unique opportunity to reinforce positive customer experiences and then obviously drive future sales. Some of the most impactful strategies that we've seen for presenting social proof are like displaying review testimonials, post-purchase messaging, and I'll get into a few of those here, but just starting with the reviews, requesting reviews shortly after delivery really ensures a customer's experience is fresh in their mind, and it oftentimes leads to just more detailed and authentic feedback from your customers. And AfterShip can really help to automate that post-purchase delivery email, asking customers to leave a review on their recent purchases. And I know there were some questions in the chat just about social proof. These emails can really be personalized and timed perfectly to capture that sentiment when the excitement is still high. But brands can also showcase positive reviews and testimonials right on their branded tracking pages. This not only ensures customers get information about their purchase, but it also helps to influence future buying decisions, which is so, so important. The other thing I'll say is just overall post-purchase messaging, so important here. Send follow-up messages that really reinforce the customer's decision to buy. Include care tips, how-to guides, customer success stories. Really make sure that you're adding value and just enhancing that overall post-purchase experience. And you can really use AfterShip to send that information and engaging post-purchase content and emails. Again, can include things like Greg already talked about this, but product videos, customer success stories, and just other helpful resources for your customers.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, the last thing I'll just say here, SJ, is upsell opportunities like within the branded tracking page. So use this tracking page to suggest complimentary products or special offers, and really turn that like routine tracking experience into an upsell opportunity. It's really a game changer when it comes to increasing AOV. And you can customize all of these features and show these personalized product recommendations right on the tracking page based on your customer's purchase history. Yeah, I'll keep it short.
Yeah, I had a visual for you. Like this one on the left-hand side is an example of a branded post-purchase page where there's a dynamic banner at the top based on giving them some sort of offer from what they've purchased already. We have a specific opt-in based off of if we know their email, if we know their phone number, or if we have both of those, maybe we're focusing more on their social handle at that point. And then exactly like you said, product recommendations based off of what you know we should recommend, different algorithms that you can use. So I love that you touched on that customization because it is such a crucial page that gets so many visits. I visit mine just too many times where you do want to have many ways that they can engage and like they'll find the place that they want to engage with. You also mentioned something like with all this feedback that we want to get in social proof. I've loved seeing like reviews thrown into things like cart abandoners or exit offer promotions where we're not just focusing on giving them a discount. It's about giving them something a little more tangible to read and then accompany with that discount. And then kind of same thing with the feedback loop. When you're asking someone about how the product is doing. Is it working perfect for you? I've seen brands incorporate like the review in that pop-up, a review of the brand or the product, and it's like, this is what people are saying. How is your experience? And like that will immediately take people like, oh, no, I did not experience in that. Or they want to like, yeah, I'm part of that crew. I also in that, like that is me. So various ways that you can use reviews. And in the end, let's not forget about A/B testing and what you can do there. Like right now is crucial time. I wouldn't suggest A/B testing closer to the holidays, a little sooner right now. I love it. Let's take it over to Greg from OmniSend. What are you thinking on this one?
So I'll talk specifically from the email side because everyone else talk about their own aspects here. So I would build these things into your email template. So I love what you just said about, hey, put this by cart abandoners and things like this. Build it into your template. So if you have free shipping, free returns, has product guarantees, whatever it is, email banner, have a little call out the top so they absolutely see this right away. They know the value adds coming in. Put testimonials, you can embed a couple of these in like secondary or tertiary content in the message. Have a recovery little banner. We talked about images before for displaying shipping speeds and things like this. So have that recovery banner with some of those company or product differentiators at the bottom as well. Have a section in there for either top rated products, best sellers. They could be seasonal as well, yeah. Best sellers in the last month, but anything where we are talking about using any form of social proof, build it into your email template and you just fill in the template with the rest of it. I think it's going to be especially important for those lifecycle messages. So we talk about cart abandoners, right? They're so close. Let's make them feel comfortable. Product abandonment messages. We talked about online website behavior before. Automated browser product abandonment messages based on specific things they are looking at, right? Build some of these social proofs, 5-star ratings, what customers said about it. So build it into the template, and I think you'll be really good at that point. And, beyond all the other things, focus on the website, but you just want to hit them at every different stage of the journey. Real quick, I know we got a question about email and why people open the product review email, but then don't leave a review. So this goes into collecting reviews as well. My answer would be people are weird. I am one of those weird people I sometimes open those and I very rarely leave reviews for products.
Me too.
There could be a couple different things. Maybe the subject line was a little bit misleading. Maybe it wasn't. Like usually they're pretty straightforward. Like, hey, leave us a real review. What'd you think of the product? If it's something like, what'd you think of your recent purchase? That could be an intro to some sort of other post-purchase messaging. Chances are it's a review email, but not necessarily clear. Some people might be looking to see if there's a discount in there, right? Do I get a discount if I leave a review? Yeah. So they just might be looking for an incentive on there, or they just might love your brand and they're engaged with you at the moment and they want to open it and see if there's anything else in there. It could be a bundle, it could be a product suggestion, and then they close out of it. So there's no one reason. This is one of those psychology things that I don't think we're going to get an answer to, but my answer would be people are weird. And just do your best, but play around with the content in there as well and see if there's other ways you can use that, use social proof in that to see if you can encourage reviews. So let them know why the review matters. Help other shoppers like you, find the perfect product, whatever that is, and see if that.
Oh no, Greg. Did he cut off for anyone else?
Yeah, we lost him.
Greg, we lost you there at the end a little bit. And I lost you again. I feel like he was getting to a good wrap-up spot. I wanted to add on to what Greg was saying and like whether you're like playing around with it, like you can test how you have that structure of the review email. And whatever your CTA is, like if you're wanting them to submit their review on site or from the email, like you can make that happen. It's all about that UTM tracking that you have set up and what you're doing to like welcome them once they get on site to either thank you for the review, fill out the review here, or just get them to the right page. Greg, no. Okay, I do have, let's see, we'll let Greg hop back on. I'll take it over to you, Molly. Can we hear from the Lucky Orange side?
Yeah, and not to continue to beat the dead horse on social proof, but I will say two things to consider. If you're a new brand, it's important to get that social proof in the buying process earlier on, because these brands aren't familiar, these people aren't familiar with you, they don't trust you inherently, they don't know a lot about you. So if you are a new startup getting your feet under you, get that social proof in their buying process earlier, whether it's, leading on your homepage, whether it's leading on product page, get that in there earlier. If you are a more established brand, you're seeing a lot more repeat customers. That's not necessarily as important to the customers because they know you, they're obviously a fan of you, they keep coming back. So kind of consider where you are from a brand standpoint, and then putting that social proof where it makes sense in the buying journey. Don't muddle up the buying journey with more social proof for repeat customers, and you can do a lot of segmentation to understand who those repeat customers are and make a personalized experience for them. But if you are a new up and coming brand, social proof, in some cases, you should lead with that to even establish any credibility to get them to continue on the buying journey.
Yeah, I've loved the incorporation of videos into lead captures for social proof. Maybe that feels a little busy to some, and we definitely don't want to affect site speed in any way. So it's, you got to make sure you have a quality video in there. But adding that element, especially with like everyone is okay with seeing reels. People see videos all day long. So that's not something that's out of the norm. It is meant to blend in a little bit more to that flow of the welcome or lead capture flow. So that's something I've been seeing people implement with just the trend of video more on websites outside of just like, here's the product and here's how you use it. Greg, do we have you back?
You
Yes.
do? I have no idea where I cut off though. I
It
can
was
still
like
hear
right
you
at
guys
the end.
talking.
Okay, cool. Amazing. I'll take it over to Tina. Can we get some insight from you on this one?
Yeah, I'll just wrap it up with two tips. So, with using UGC, one of, just speaking as a consumer myself who obviously shops a lot online, but one of my favorite clothing brands, they use UGC on their Instagram page all the time with messaging like shop the look. And then when you click the link to the website, it either takes you to like a landing page with like a shirt or something, and then there's a clear like shop the look section again where I can like find the pants that the creator, like the UGC creator, was using on the Instagram post, or they have a whole matching sets category on their website as well. So it's just easy to like get redirected to a page where like the whole Instagram users whole outfit is like already put together with like the accessories and everything.
Oh, perfect.
So that's a great way to like use UGC to drive conversions. And then a more creative idea, but something that I think we see a lot of is like the unboxing experiences. So thinking about like Apple and how beautiful their boxes are and luxurious looking and everything. Even like other brands that just have like really fun unboxing experiences, we tend to see a lot of folks like want to go share those on social media. They'll take like videos of like them unboxing everything and like the notes from the founder that where they leave like handwritten notes to the buyers and everything. I always find that like a really sweet sentiment. And so one thing you can do with like the unboxing experience is just like with the note with the founder, have like a QR code to be like share your unboxing experience on Instagram and like redirect folks to like, take a video or a picture or something and share that and tag the brand. And you can incentivize that too with like, if you share, you get like a coupon for 10% off your next purchase or something like that. So it just helps like push more UGC, and then also like is giving users a reason to engage with your brand and then also come back and purchase again.
Yeah, to your point, I've also seen where they have that unboxing and then like that consumer gets their own code to share. It's like the share with a friend, referral stuff. But if you give them an experience to talk about a little bit more, sharing that code, it just has a little more meat to it. Like all of this happened and you can experience the same thing and here's my code, which can also lead into that loyalty, which helps avoid becoming a detached consumer. Fabulous. We're a little bit over. I have one question in QA that I really wanted to get to for anyone that we can direct it to. So we have any tips for a service-based company offering a service concept that doesn't exist in their market? Any takers? Service-based.
Yeah, so just a quick thought here. One of the things that you're going to have to come with, a service-based company that does not, the offer currently doesn't exist, is maybe finding something that's comparable in the market or something that they can relate to that already exists in the market and starting as a proof point or example there, and then differentiating and saying, but this is where this product, service, whatever, does not meet the current needs, and here's what I'm offering. And you're going to have to do a lot more of that explanation, whether it's words, whether it's videos, what have you, right off the bat, to get that comparing. But I think starting with something in the market that they currently understand on the website or currently can relate to is a good jumping off point for then you to lead into the product you're offering. So it may seem weird orienting, your homepage, your product page, or your service page around another service that's not the service you offer, but I think it helps give them context. And then again, as your audience develops more, as you get more traffic, continue to watch session recordings, heat maps, see how their behavior is and what they're engaging with to kind of give you the direction of the next round of content, how you should be positioning in that market.
Awesome. Thank you, Molly. Greg, I know you had something in there.
I was going to say a lot of what Molly did, so I'm not going to repeat what she said. Take that advice. The one addition to that, I would say, based on the way the question's framed, it sounds like this is a service offering that is offered elsewhere, just not in your market. So I would look for some of those proof points, like Molly just mentioned, in those other markets and try to relate that back to why it's important. So it's kind of a combination type thing, but look to where it is successful. But Molly's 100% right. Like you've got to prove that this is a fit and it's going to be a benefit to companies.
Yeah, it sounds like we're getting into education, giving yourself more of that credibility and finding it through where credibility is living currently. Awesome. Thank you all for that feedback. We said we answered that one. Fabulous. So for our final slide here, we have these special offers from everyone. Thank you for providing this and for speaking today with your awesome knowledge. You can redeem any of these items. We've got a free conversion audit, a demo, and a free gift card from Aftership, 1 free month of simple bundles from Tina. Then you get a free month of No from Tina as well. And then from Greg, we get 20% off the first 3 months using OmniSend. Great time to transition into that new ESP SMS world. And from Molly, we have free 7-day free trial. So I love when we have a full array of offers here. Just imagine if you combine all of these in this month, get some really great feedback and actionable items that you can take leading into the final quarter of the year. So I don't see any other questions in here. I appreciate everyone hanging on a little bit longer, but feel free to connect with any one of us afterwards. You will have the option to select who you want to hear from. And then when I send the recording email, you can also let me know who we should connect with. So I will let you go and hope everyone has a wonderful day. We'll see you later.